Welcome back, AlexBeltran here with part 3 of this midterm rental series, the move out. The tenants just moved out a couple of hours ago, and I'm gonna walk the property so that you get an idea of how people treat midterm rentals. Let's go. Alrighty, so not the biggest of deals, but just left a couple drinks, not too bad. There we go, that's gonna need to be cleaned. Uh-oh, they locked it. Alrighty, so here we go. Let's turn on all these lights. On. Everything seems fine here. It's not beat up or anything. Just needs a little scrub down. Let's go check upstairs. Yeah, look. Everything seems to be in its place. Not bad. So it seems like they left a couch protector here. They did have dogs. I don't know if they want that for themselves or whatever. I mean, just nothing. Cool. All right, so that's pretty much it. I mean, this property is in great shape other than washing the linens, restocking towels and little odds and ends, and obviously the cleaning ladies coming in here to do like the final wipe down. This house is in great shape. There's no issue. Couldn't be happier, right? And this is what I expect from sort of the midterm rental game. It's people that aren't here to party at the house. They're here to work or live their lives. All right, so back in the studio, and I figured this is the perfect opportunity to do a little bit of a Q&A based off of the comments and the emails that I received from the last video. So let's just jump right in. All right, so in the last video, I talked about Facebook Marketplace and how a lot of people that were responding to the post that I made on Facebook Marketplace were asking if I would do 12-month leases. I said no. A lot of people were asking, why don't you want to do a 12-month lease at a premium price? That sounds very logical. And the truth is, it is very logical. And if you can lock up the property for 12 months at a premium price, absolutely do it. However, the reason why I don't want to do a 12-month lease on this particular property right now is because this property needs some minor maintenance and some repairs that I want to do in between vacancies. And ultimately, I want the rental income to pay for that. Perfect example, the HVAC system in this particular property was getting old. I don't know if you remember that very first video where I purposely took a video of the air conditioning unit because I thought it was funny that it was so old while I was flexing my property. You see, that unit was getting ready to basically explode. The motor was about to go out, the coolant was very low, and it uses like R22 or something like that. And ultimately, it was just gonna be a lot of money to repair, where I might as well just get a brand new unit with a warranty, new HVAC system, and just take that route because it makes more sense in the long run. A little bit more expensive, but I don't have to worry about it for the next couple of years. Plus, warranties, they're like the best. If I would have locked in a tenant for 12 months, then there's a huge possibility that that air conditioning would have crapped out, and then they would be in the unit while those repairs are being done. And look, I've been a tenant in units while minor repairs are being done, and it frustrated me. So I could only imagine, if you were a tenant dealing with heat and your air conditioning is out, even if it is between a 4 to 5 hour job when it comes to HVAC systems, that's still 4 to 5 hours too long, and it's the difference between getting a good rating and a bad rating. So it's best just to replace the whole thing during the vacancy. And like I mentioned before, rather than pay for it using my money, I'd rather just use the cash flow that's generated from the rental to pay for these upgrades. One of the other repairs that this property needs is a new water heater. I mean, the water heater is working just fine right now. However, it's getting ready to age out. Next thing is the bathtub. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the walkthrough videos or whatever, but that bathtub and the plumbing underneath is like from the 70s. Yes, can I reglaze it and keep snaking that pipe so that water keeps flowing just fine? Yeah, I guess, but that seems to be more of corner cutting. And personally, I don't like to do any corner cutting on any of the properties that I own. And look, I understand that a lot of investors do not share this sentiment. In fact, they're probably looking at me like I'm a complete idiot. They hate repairs and they hate upgrades. But that, in my opinion, is backwards thinking, because after a couple of years, the property falls into disrepair. Your A property turns into a C property, and then pretty soon the tenants that you were attracting falls along with it. That's not good. And look, you can call me soft or whatever, that's cool, but my experience has been that if the tenants see that you put a lot of pride of ownership into your properties, they will take care of them the same way. Of course, there's always going to be exceptions. There's always that dummy in the back that's like, yeah, but what about, yeah, okay, there's exception to all of these rules. We get that. It's called nuance. Have you heard of it? Also, keeping the property in good shape allows me to sell the property at top dollar if I ever want to take that route. I know that a lot of investors do not share the same philosophy, and that's why they sell their properties for pennies on the dollar to wholesalers. Number 2, did the flyers at the hospital work? And the answer is not exactly the way I thought it would. Look, I ended up printing out a whole bunch of flyers, and I ended up going to every medical facility and hospital in the Omaha metro area. And they didn't have bulletin boards. And even if they did, they wouldn't have allowed me to pin that onto their bulletin board, because then they would be endorsing the property, which is something that they don't want to do. Why? Because, you know, in the event that something goes wrong, the hospital doesn't want to be held responsible. I get it. Now, what they did do was allow me to post it in their employees' bulletin board, but that was a huge time suck. I mean, once you kind of factor in travel time, walking into the hospital, talking to the right person, going to the right place to pin it in that specific bulletin board, given how much time that was, I don't think the juice was worth the squeeze. Not really anything has bubbled up from those bulletin boards yet. I still think that targeting hospitals is key to succeeding in the midterm rental game, and I'm determined to crack that code. I haven't cracked it yet, but you know that as soon as I do, I'm gonna let you know. Question number 3, what are some property management programs that I would recommend? Well, if you're just starting off, then I would recommend using the features that Furnish Finder has on their own website. It is through KeyCheck. Through KeyCheck, you can send leases, get e-signatures, set up a payment portal, and it's relatively inexpensive to get started. Now, is it the most intuitive program? No, but it gets the job done. Now, if you are a little more in the advanced levels of real estate, you have multiple properties going on, or maybe you're shifting over to multifamily, whatever the case may be. In that case, then there's Baselane and TenantCloud, and those are the two that I think are competing for like the number 1 spot. Now, I will say I know more people that use Baselane than any other system, and the next thing is that they tend to use Baselane for like bigger properties as well. So it kind of future-proofs you if you're like in the 1 to 5 units, but eventually, you're gonna go between like 10 to 20 units. Baselane is probably gonna have you a little more covered in that regard. So choose one. Question number 4, do I really hate Jeff Bezos? No, I don't. I don't know the guy. I mean, I'm just an observer like anyone else. Right? I do think he's a brilliant businessman who is able to solve a lot of problems for a lot of people, and he deserves what he's got. On the flip side, I also think he should fire his PR team for allowing him to laugh the way he laughs while looking like Lex Luthor. But my philosophy is more so to shop local as much as possible. By shopping local, I allow the local businesses the ability to grow, hire, and reinvest into the community. Look, at the end of the day, it's the local businesses that, sponsor soccer teams, baseball teams, all these different events, whereas Amazon is trying to replace their entire workforce with robots. And other than giving us data centers that raise the cost of energy for everyone in the city, they really don't reinvest into the local market. By trying to give local Omaha business more business, it just improves the overall local economy. That's all I meant by that, okay? Jeff Bezos just... I mean, you gotta laugh at that laugh. Come on, I'm not the only one.
Hell yes.
Question number 5, do I really train for the Ironman triathlon? And the question is yes. Yes, I do. For those of you that don't know what the Ironman triathlon is, it is a 140.6 mile race that you have to complete in the 17-hour cutoff time. So it is 2.4 miles of swimming, 112 miles of biking, and 26.2 miles of running. Yeah, it's really hard. The pros can do it in between 6 to 7 hours, which is insane. Now, if you haven't noticed, I'm not exactly a pro athlete. I'm actually kind of a big guy, right? So training for the Ironman triathlon is what I do to get myself into shape, keep myself motivated, and I really want to cross the half-Ironman here in Omaha, Nebraska next June, and that is what I am ultimately training for right now. Yes, I did do the full Ironman triathlon out in Thun, Switzerland twice, failed twice, but it doesn't discourage me because it's way further than I would have gotten if I had not trained for the Ironman triathlon. So, that's why I make videos about it. We all have to have our hobbies, but yes, in short, I do train for the Ironman triathlon. If you are in Omaha and plan on doing the half Ironman next June, comment in the comment section down below or email me. I would love to train with you. I could always use a biking buddy. All right, so question number 6, was I really a luxury real estate agent in Beverly Hills? And the answer is yes. Yes, I was. Now, that sounds a lot more glamorous than it actually was. I was actually a very bad salesperson. The worst salesperson. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I had no discipline at all. I just kind of stumbled into sales with the sales that I did do in the luxury market out in Beverly Hills and the surrounding areas. With that said, what I learned was immeasurable. Look, I was just a lower middle class kid growing up, right? Seeing big numbers and all these unobtainable things was literally unobtainium to me. So when I was working in the luxury real estate market and I was able to see these world class, high-end portfolios and see how that worked on the back end, at the time, I really didn't realize what I was looking at. But now, knowing what I know, damn, that was real eye-opening, man. I wouldn't trade that time in for the world. It was a lot of fun. Do I wish I would have made a lot more money being a luxury real estate salesperson like all those $1 million listing guys? Yeah, absolutely. But ultimately, what I did learn has been immeasurable. I use it to this day. But yeah, long story short, I was a luxury real estate agent in Beverly Hills, 90210. Number 7, do I do coaching calls? And the answer is absolutely freaking not. No. Maybe I can set up some type of accountability Zoom that we can do once every other week or something like that, but only with people who actually want to be held accountable. But other than that, no, I won't be someone's coach. I won't be doing any type of one-on-one calls or anything like that. And I promise you, it's not you, it's me. I use YouTube as a little bit more of an artistic way to express myself. And yes, while at the same time legitimizing and documenting what I do. At the end of the day, this YouTube channel has brought me business that I wouldn't have otherwise have gotten, has opened doors to certain aspects of the world of real estate that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to open. So I do use it in that regards. Yes, do I sell a couple of cheesy shirts? Yeah, but you never really see me pushing them. I have affiliate links, absolutely. I get YouTube AdSense, which I think is the fairest way of getting paid. And maybe, quite possibly, I would like to do sponsorships with companies that I really, 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 really want to work with. Rolex, if you're listening. my wrist would look really good with one of your Submariners. I'm just saying. Putting that out there, all right? Wishful thinking. Seriously, holler at me, Rolex. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to sell you courses. I'm not trying to be the next bigger pickpockets or whatever the hell they've rebranded themselves today. I'm just here to make YouTube videos that I find fun to make, while at the same time possibly helping you in the process. But honestly, like if you really think about it, the best way for me to help as many people as humanly possible is to keep making YouTube videos that are free for everyone to watch, rather than one-on-one Zoom calls or whatever. Just shooting myself in the foot for being like an influencer. Question number 8, has the property been leased again? And the answer is yes. However, there was a month that it wasn't leased at all, mostly because I was doing the repairs that needed to be done, and 2, I traveled to Europe. So, you know, being on the other side of the world, I believe it's an 8-hour difference from Omaha time to Paris and Germany and Switzerland time. So the leads that I was getting, I would be calling them back at very awkward hours. Note to self, hire an assistant while you're away, or just hire an assistant, period. But as soon as I got back from Europe, it quickly rented. The lead ultimately ended up coming from Airbnb, which, how can I put this diplomatically? They wanted to charge the future tenant a lot while giving me, the landlord, very little. It was very awkward because the future tenant kept saying, why does the price keep on changing every time I look back at Airbnb to see if you responded to my message or not? Airbnb, I don't know why you keep doing like this variable pricing thing. I mean, I get it, I do. It works very well for like short-term rentals, but when it comes to midterm rentals or 30-day stays, it's kind of antithetical to the entire process. I'd rather just put like a static price for the 30-day stay than whatever the hell this jumping up and down is. Problem for a different video. Luckily, the future tenant also ended up finding me on Furnish Finder and saw that in fact, yes, I do have a static monthly rate. And we ended up setting up everything through Furnish Finder, sending over the lease, and it's gonna be a 7-month stay if I'm not mistaken. I have to double check that. But anyway, this is a completely different avatar from like the whole hospital thing that I was focusing on before. This is actually a corporation that is looking to open up a new branch here in Omaha, Nebraska. The cool thing about this is that, yes, I also have my real estate license, so I can also help them find the commercial property where they're gonna be doing some big, heavy machinery work, which I'm personally very excited about. So, kind of like a double win for me in that particular case. I can't talk too much more about that. It just is what it is. But yeah, it's rented out for the next 7 months at a premium price. I'll take it, man. I don't have to worry about this property for a little while. Yay. All right, so that's it for this particular video. If you made it this far, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, or the dislike button, whatever. As long as there's engagement in the video, leave a comment down below. If you want to get a hold of me very quickly, go ahead and send me an email. I'd be more than happy to answer all of your questions. Instagram, if you send me a message there, for some odd reason, it sends it to like a completely different folder. So if I don't get to you right away, I'm sorry in advance. I will get back to you and I will answer all of your questions. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm so glad you've liked this series so far. I will catch you in the next one. Peace. Shh.